will call to order Board of Water Commissioners meeting on July 25th, 2023 at 6:00 p.m. This meeting is being held in person and/or remotely as an alternate means of public access pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023 and all other applicable laws, temporarily amending certain provisions of the open meeting law. You are hereby advised that this meeting and all communications during this meeting may be recorded by the Town of Hingham in accordance with the open meeting law. If any participant wishes to record this meeting, please notify the chair at the start of the meeting in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20F, so that the chair may inform all other participants of said recording. Is anyone else recording? Seeing none, I will note for the record, participating this evening are myself, Liz Klein, Chair, Joe Fisher, and Bill Ramsey. Next on the agenda is to consider, approval of minutes. We ready to do that?
I'm ready.
All right, I will take a motion.
I'll move to approve the minutes dated July 11th, 2023.
Second.
Roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. It passes unanimously. Next on the agenda is to consider approval of the agreement with K.R. Rendez Incorporated for the Phase 1 water main replacement. We have Water Superintendent Russ Tierney and Kathy Riley with us.
Good evening, everybody. We're looking at a contract with K.R. Rendez. They out at Sonnet, Mass. Whereas the town issued an invitation for bids and IFB pursuant to MGL C30, 39M, and all other applicable laws. They came in as the low bidder. Their bid was for their base bid was for $1,520,369. We did have an alternate bid in there to do some connections and minor improvements in Lincoln Street at both Crow Point Lane and Downer Ave. Their alternate bid was $228,078. So their total bid price was $1,748,447. We had estimated to be at about $1.9 million, so we came in under our estimate. The second bidder was actually so close. It was the closest I've seen in a really long time. The second bidder was $1,754,047.52. So it was a really good bid, very competitive bid, and it was actually $100,000 less than the first round of bids we did. So rebidding paid off for us.
Great.
What the streets are included are Downer Ave from Lincoln Street to Governor Long. I did put Otis Street in parentheses because DPW would inform me that they are going to pave all the way to Otis Street on Downer Ave. So I do have our engineers going back and designing a small section from Governor Long to Otis Street, which will add about another 800 feet or 900 feet to the project, which we should be able to cover with no problem, but I'll look at it once they're done designing it. That'll allow DPW to pave all the way from Lincoln Street all the way to Otis Street. As I mentioned in our last meeting, that'll also give us a 12-inch main all the way from Otis Street all the way to the shipyard. So it'll really improve the hydraulics throughout the entire system. Then we have Plantersfield Lane and from Downer Ave to Wampatuck. This was part of our capital study improvements, and so was Downer Ave. So both these projects are being done for paving and as part of our capital study for improvements of the hydraulics in that area. Crow Point Lane is being replaced from Lincoln Street, Candido Way. We have a lot of break history in this street. There's been 4 there since I've been here, and it's only a 2-inch line. So we're going to replace that with a brand new 6-inch water main. And then also there's another 2-inch line on the other side of Crow Point Lane that for some reason was left in place by itself. So we're actually going to take that and connect it to the brand new 8-inch main that's in that section and eliminate that 2-inch that's in that section of Crow Point Lane. So at some point we may be able to replace the rest of it, but that's going to eliminate a long piece of 2¼ inch old Galvey steel in that section of the street also. So that's basically what it was. And the work on Downer Ave has to be completed by August 25th prior to school opening. If school opens, we can be down on Crow Point Lane and we can be over on Plantersfield, but that section will be done. They will have to be out of the street by then, and they've already told us they can do that with no problem, as long as we can get the jacking done underneath the culvert that is right there in the street on Downer Ave. But if that becomes a problem, we can always push that off till the spring. So.
Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you for coordinating with the school. And I think you mentioned that this is part of the capital improvement plan and has already been budgeted for.
Correct. It's already been budgeted for. And like I said, I had estimated it at $1.9 million. So.
Okay. Excellent. Joe, do you have any questions?
Yeah, just in terms of your experience with the contractor.
Yeah. I have none personally.
Yep.
We did check their references.
Right.
They are doing the school project right now, which makes it a little easier for us because the coordination between the school project and our project will be them. They'll have to communicate with themselves. So I told them, we had a meeting, and I told them there was no excuses to how they couldn't communicate because they're communicating to each other.
But they have the capacity to do both.
They absolutely do. We checked at a pre-construction meeting to make sure they had the capacity to do both projects. But Joe, I did check a few other people that I know have used them, and they had some very good success in Fall River. JR spoke highly of them because he used them in Fall River when he was the engineer in Fall River, so their references checked out very well.
Yeah, and I see that they also worked at Legacy Place in
They did,
in
yeah.
Dedham.
They did.
So, good, I mean, that was my primary concern, you know, and I know we're required to do the bidding and you look for the low bidder, but we also need quality, so.
Yes.
Yep.
But like I said, JR did tell me they did a lot of work in Fall River for him.
Yep.
And I also worked in Freetown prior to being here, and I did meet them at that point. I never worked with them, but I did meet them because they were right on the Freetown, they saw it as part of Freetown, so.
And I note that in the contract, you do have the Downer Ave work to be completed by August 25th.
Correct.
So that's great. No other questions?
Excellent. I'm sorry, Kathy, I didn't give you an opportunity. Did you want to add anything?
No.
Okay.
Russell covered it.
Okay,
Thank you.
excellent. Bill, do you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, so, only question I have for you, Ross, is I know that this part of town needs this replacement. And I didn't hear Joe's last question, but, obviously Downer Ave is right in front of Foster School. A lot going on at that site with the new school. Kids will be back in school in about 6 or 7 weeks or so. How is the timing of the project gonna impact, buses, kids going to school in the area?
We told them they had to be out of Downer Ave by August 25th. So if they get the main in and can't transfer over the services, then we'll put the service transfers over off until, you know, some vacation time or something like that. So their main objective is to get the initial water main in place, and tested and sampled.
Great, perfect. Thank you, Russ, for taking that stuff.
No problem at all.
I'm all set, thank you.
Excellent. Is that Matt? I can't really see.
Matt Cahill.
Matt, did you want to add anything? No? Okay.
No.
Okay. Are there any members of the public that have any questions or comments? No? Okay. I'm ready to take a motion then.
I make a motion authorizing town administrator to sign the agreement with KR with Spendace Incorporated for the FY 23 Phase 1 water main replacement for the Bear River water system in an amount not to exceed $1,748,447.
Second.
Roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. It passes unanimously. Thank you. Next on the agenda is to consider approval of the agreement with Colonial Motor Group for a 2023 Ford F-150 hybrid pickup truck.
As part of some of the approvals from last year into this year, we approved the position of an assistant water superintendent. The job has been posted. Along with that, we had put in the capital budget to purchase a vehicle for that person at a cost of $60,000. So over the past few weeks, I've been taking quotes through the state contract on vehicles. Some of the stuff we can only get guaranteed to be delivered within the next 3 to 4 months, and this was one of the vehicles that we could. The other one was actually one for our superintendent of public works, so we got that solidified with the same group so we could get them both in here. This vehicle, I'll probably take this vehicle over because it is a hybrid and it'll get us better gas mileage. So for the way I use the vehicle, I think it'll be better for me to drive this one, and I can pass on the one that I have to that individual because that's more of a around-town vehicle. We have been still looking at, this vehicle needs to be with us by November 30th, 2023. We have been told it should be here sooner, but we just wanted to give them the time to get it in here and get it outfitted and out. We have been looking at alternatives for reducing emissions, including the Ford Lightning pickup trucks. The Ford Lightning right now is on hold for municipal contracts due to batteries, shortage in batteries. They can't get batteries for them. I did hear today or yesterday that they did get the batteries in, but they're not releasing them to the public contracts until they make sure they have enough to give out to everybody else. And there are other components that they're having problems with right now. But we do have them on hold per se, where once they become available and they can give us a delivery date, we'll look at ordering a couple of those, or one of those, for also part of this year's FY24 budget. But even if they take our order now, they can't guarantee us delivery at all. So they can't even tell us when they'll be here. So But I just want to make sure the board's aware we are still looking at those alternatives, and as soon as we can get them guaranteed to us, we will start utilizing those alternatives for some of our assets. The other thing we did look at was they're actually coming out with a Ford Transit Electric, which is a larger van. So I have a meeting with Veolia tomorrow to see if that might be something that we can use in the distribution system instead of a truck. So we'll look at that tomorrow, so.
Great,
This is part of capital outlay, and it was budgeted again for $60,000.
okay. How did, the other two vehicles that you mentioned, the Ford Lightning and the van, how did the prices compare?
The van was a little higher than I thought it would be. They're like 63 to 65,000, not outfitted, so that's without racks and things inside. The Lightnings are 53, so they're a little bit less.
Okay.
Again, that's not outfitted, but I don't think it'll cost a lot to outfit it with some, a tonneau cover or some kind of cover and some kind of boxes underneath. So we'll look at both scenarios and see which one is better for us.
Okay,
One of them probably won't have to be outfitted at all, because it'll probably most likely be used for the sampler / meter reader, so that's a job that doesn't require a lot of tools, but it does require some small tools, so one of them will probably be a good fit, because the Ford Lightnings have actually a big, huge trunk in the front where there's no motor, so.
right. Okay, Joe, any questions?
Two, first for Russ, you said this amount is in your capital budget?
Yes, it is.
And do we do an analysis of whether or not we should purchase versus lease, and we've decided to do the purchase?
We decided with purchases. I've talked to Tom about it and everybody else, and I think everybody in town has agreed that purchasing is better for the water system, because the residual value is not gonna be good when we're done using them for what we use them for.
Okay.
But we do use them, and we will trade them in or put them on the auction. The auction actually gave us some really good buyback on some of the vehicles we have, so I'm gonna put a few more on the auction as soon as we get the new ones in, so.
And then my second question relates to, we're gonna have a motion coming up to sign the agreement. Do we have the agreement? What I have is an estimate of,
They fixed that. There is there is a quote.
I see it. Do you have something more than this?
Yes,
It's not in my packet, so I don't.
this is it, right, Colonial Motor Group?
Michelle, is that the one that I just sent Sharon?
Yeah, this,
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's it,
I
yeah.
thought this was, I'm sorry. Sorry, no, I do have that.
You got it?
My apologies.
We did have
No,
an
this
updated
is not
oh,
it.
no,
'cause
that's the, no.
This is for the
Sorry.
1.7 million, which is not the price for the
No,
vehicle.
it is not.
This is the second.
You don't have it.
That'd be a nice truck.
Okay.
We have one for you, Joe, hold on.
No, I got it right here. I'm just,
This is the
Bill, do you have any questions while Joe's looking at that?
I don't have any questions, I know the vehicle's needed, so I'll support it.
Great, thank you.
are we doing any special outfitting for this vehicle? Is it coming as is, or do we have to do add-ons?
No, maybe some
No
safety lights.
customization?
No, just some safety lights, but they don't come from the factory that way, so.
Right.
But I have that in my operating budget. Usually I do
Right,
safety
right.
and stuff out of my
Yep,
operating budget.
okay. No questions. Thank you.
There any questions or comments from members of the public?
I have a question. Mark Frazier, 50
Do you mind coming up to the podium just so they can hear you?
Yeah, Clark Frazier, 50 Bonniebriar Circle. How much do you typically get for the trucks in auction?
It depends on the vehicle, but we received, I think it was $4,000 for an old Ford Ranger, which was a I can't remember what year that was, 2007. Had a lot of miles on it.
That's old, okay.
Yeah, it was old. And then we did get about $15,000 for a very old backhoe that we had put out to auction. So the auction prices have been better than what they're giving us for trade-in value.
Yeah.
So the
that's-
auction works much better.
That's why I wanted to confirm.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you. Okay, if there are no other questions or comments, I'm ready to take a motion.
I'll move to authorize the town administrator to sign the agreement with Colonial Motor Group for a 2023 Ford F-150 hybrid pickup truck in an amount not to exceed $60,913.40.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call vote, Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well, passes unanimously.
Great.
Next on the agenda is public comment. Are there any questions or comments from members of the public? Seeing none, take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Roll call vote, Joe?
Aye.
Bill? And I'm an aye as well. We are adjourned at 6:14.